evidence after 2 days. We would have required you to, because when you say something here, you are expected to have, the material. But given the gravity of what you've just said, I would allow you. And therefore, on Thursday, 2:30, Thursday, 14th of this month, at 2:30, we expect Honorable Fatuma Gedi to, it's only fair. It's only fair that we allow her the time to provide the material that she has, yeah.
All the land she has mentioned.
Yes. Yeah, I remember, Honorable Fatuma, you have said you will provide evidence of, you talked about Taita Taveta, you talked about Laikipia. You say even Wajir. Even Wajir. Can you go on record? Please, Honorable Fatuma, please don't put words into our mouth. Honorable Fatuma, yeah? Honorable Fatuma.
No, Mr. Speaker, I will provide on the following.
Yes.
1, Langata Primary.
Yes.
2, Taita Taveta.
Yeah.
3, Laikipia.
Yes.
4, Muteshi.
What is Muteshi? What is Muteshi? What is Muteshi?
It's 100 acres land, Mr. Speaker.
Where?
Muteshi.
Well, there is no place in Kenya called Muteshi. Yeah. Honour members, please. Honour Fatuma is serious about what she is saying, but it's only that I don't know. I know the geography of this country. I don't know of any part in this country called Muteshi. Yeah, please.
Mr. Speaker, you've already ruled that by Thursday I bring the details.
No, what is
Muteshi
that?
Is a land. The late Muteshi belongs to the late Muteshi. It's in Trans Nzoia, Mr. Speaker.
In Trans Nzoia?
Yes.
Very well.
100 acres, Mr. Speaker.
Very well.
And if you allow me, let me get you the details on Thursday, 2:30, Mr. Speaker.
On Thursday.
I thank you.
Very well. Very well, Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Honour members, that concludes the 30 minutes which are allocated for comments on petitions. Honour members, that concludes, and the petition stands committed to the Departmental Committee on Lands. Let's move to the next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Leader of Majority Party. Leader of Majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, April the 12th of 2022. Number 1, the 2022-2023 Annex of Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure for State Corporations of the Government of Kenya for the financial year ending 30th of June 2023 from the National Treasury. Number 2, Legal Notice number 20 of 2022 relating to the engineers scale of fees for professional engineering services, Rules 2022, and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development, and Public Works. Number 3, the reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the following institutions for the year ended 31st of December 2021, and the certificates therein. And these are the Kenya Reinsurance Corporation Limited, number B, the Development Bank of Kenya Limited, and number C, the Consolidated Bank of Kenya. Number 4, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the following institutions for the year ended 30th of June 2021, and certificates therein. And these are the Coffee Sherry Advance Revolving Fund and the Commodities Fund. The 5th batch of papers is the reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the following institutions for the year ended 30th of June 2020, and the certificates therein. And these are the Veterinary Medicines Directorate, the Railway Development Levy Fund Operations Account, and the Coffee Cherry Advance Revolving Fund. Number 6, the reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the following constituencies for the year ended 30th of June 2020, and the certificates therein. And these are Bamachoge Chache and Homa Bay Town. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Chairperson, Committee on Lands.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, April 12, 2022. A report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on its consideration of a public petition number 63 of 2021 by residents of Mwananguvunze village in Timbwani ward of Likoni constituency regarding securing land ownership rights of Mwananguvunze residents. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, or a member thereof. Member for Kitui Rural, yes. You have become a permanent agent of necessity.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, April 12, 2022. Reports on the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of 1, the petition pertaining the public petition number 09 of 2021 by agreed pensioners across the country regarding devolution of pension services, and 2, the public petition number 051 of 2021 by concerned teachers within the Republic of Kenya regarding financial support of the Central Bank of Kenya in the matter of Spare Bank Limited under Section 34 and 36 of the Central Bank of Kenya Act. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
First segment on questions. Member for Msambweni, the only question available, Honorable Faisal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question number 106 of 2022, directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. 1. What steps has the ministry taken to ensure that Mr. Amani Mohamed Mwafujo of ID number 26006118, who was allegedly abducted by security officers on 21st March 2022 at Shanzu bus stage, Mombasa County, after being released from Shimolatewa GK prison, has been located and reunited with his family. 2. What is the status of investigations into the said abduction as reported at the Bamburi police station on 22nd March 2022, via occurrence book number 13/2022/03/2-22. Number 3, what measures has the ministry put in place to address increased cases of mysterious disappearance of persons across the country? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It must be on the order paper, surely. Please. The question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. The next segment is request for statements, and the member for Isiolo North, the Honorable Hassan Oda Hulufo. You have a request.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for statement regarding the insecurity in Isiolo County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security regarding the recent insecurity in Isiolo County for the last 3 months. Honorable Speaker, there has been influx of armed herders from Samburu County and Laisabis Sub-County of Marsabit County into Isiolo Central Sub-County and Home Division of Merti Sub-County. This is of great concern in that there has been persistent raids by immigrant herders leading to loss of lives, injuries, loss of property, that is cattle, camels, sheep, and goats, and invasion of wildlife protected areas posing risk to endangered wildlife species and loss of revenue from tourist hotels. Honorable Speaker, further, there has been attacks on road users and travelers on Isiolo-Kom Road, Merti-Gotu Road, leading to killings, injuries, and mass displacement of Isiolo pastoralist communities from part of Isiolo Centro and Com Division and also part of Kina Division. Further, interruption of public transport from Merti Sub-County to Isiolo County headquarters and displacement of people and disruption of livelihood at an unprecedented level. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security on the following. Roman 1, could the chairperson explain measures the government has put in place to enhance security in the region, and in particular, consideration of restoring public sector transport between Merti Sub-County and Isiolo County headquarters? Roman 2, could the chairperson explain action taken by government to flush out bandits, raiders, and invaders across Isiolo County, including those in the game parks, and when will this commence? Roman 3, could the chairperson explain whether investigations have been undertaken, if any, to determine who is arming and providing logistic support, and what measures are in place to bring them to book? Roman 4, what plans has the ministry put in place to take stock of national police reservists in Samburu County and Laisami Sub-County and conservancy rangers, and state whether there is any possible involvement in the mayhem? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Chair, Administration and National Security, Honorable Mwadi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And indeed, just about a week ago, the committee on its own motion engaged the CS Interior regarding that matter. He only gave us a brief on what was happening, and we asked him to bring details. But now, going by the fact that there is a request for statement, I want to believe that within 2 weeks, Honorable Speaker, we'll be able to deliver. I thank you.
Honorable Hulufo.
Honorable Speaker, what is happening in Isiolo is unprecedented. Actually, the magnitude is similar to what has been happening in Laikipia. So 2 weeks is such a long time. We are losing lives, and actually part of the county is completely cut off. An entire sub-county called Merti, people could not, actually we are literally could be able to provide us with, respond to my request in the shortest time possible. Actually, last weekend alone, we lost 9 people just on the edge of Isiolo town.
Yes, Honorable Mwadi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. What I can do is to share with the Honorable Member the report that was tabled by the CS, even as we wait for the details. There are some measures that he's taking which are enumerated in that report and which I can share immediately with him.
Well, of course, the rest of the issue is, obviously, I imagine that everybody is aware of the calendar of the House. So, but I think maybe Honorable Hulufo, you could, just have, get in touch with the Honorable Mwadi. You can discussing with him. Yeah. Very well. That concludes order number 7. Next order. Yes.
Speaker, on a point of order, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the 25th of January 2022, we had the political parties' membership regulations of 2021 tabled before the House, Honorable Speaker, and they were committed to the relevant committee, Honorable Speaker. And it's now almost 3 months after that, the tabling of those regulations. And I am aware, Honorable Speaker, that the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties has been using these regulations without either the approval or annulment of this House, Honorable Speaker. And the committee has never come back to the House to advise us whether to either approve those regulations or annul them, Honorable Speaker. And I wanted to get your guidance because I have a feeling, Honorable Speaker, it could be a very deliberate attempt to have these regulations take effect through the attrition of time, and it's only fair that we get an opportunity to be able to interrogate as plenary what is contained in those regulations, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, 2 is on the issue that has just been raised on the matter of Isiolo, and I wish the chair of the Security Committee and the Vice Chair, Honorable Gedi, would be listening, because, Honorable Speaker, the issues, and Honorable Abdi Salan there had also raised the issue of insecurity in Isiolo.
Now, so which one do I listen to?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, if you can advise, if you can also protect me from the member for Kipipiri or the leader of the minority within the majority, formerly majority party, to stop shouting at me from his seat and be patient, because I cannot be intimidated by the shouting of a man from Kipipiri, Honorable Speaker, and he knows himself. Honorable Speaker, I was saying on the issues to do insecurity, Kimunya, you either allow me time or act in a manner befitting the office you hold as leader of the minority within the majority, formerly majority party. Honorable Speaker, I was saying the issues of insecurity, Honorable Speaker, and I'm happy now Gedi and Honorable Gedi and Honorable Mwadhi could now listen. The Honorable Abdisalan had also raised that issue of insecurity in Isiolo. And I want it to be on record, Honorable Speaker, that is not just Isiolo, Honorable Speaker. It started in Laikipia, as the Honorable member from Isiolo has said. It has now moved, it went to Baringo. It is now in Isiolo. It was in Garissa, Honorable Speaker. I also want to report, Honorable Speaker, and maybe it's something that the leader, the chair of the committee needs to get into and address with the CS. In the run-up to elections, Honorable Speaker, we have seen these things happen before. And it is not a matter that we should be taking lightly, Honorable Speaker. Beyond the region,
this should be, seen as something unique, a life-saving action. I want to plead with him that in the next 5-6 days, something should be done about this. If we don't, then expect more and more killings. Thank you.
See, Honourable members, there's always something which is, I don't know, we have spoken about this day in, day out, year in, year out since 2013, about the inadequacy of this system. But there we are. We still have to to live with it, because the Honourable Mwadhi can only undertake to go and fight. In fact, take this statement. Not even him. It's actually not even the Honourable Mwadhi who is supposed. This is Parliament is supposed to go to take this statement to the Cabinet Secretary, and the Cabinet Secretary is required to just send to the Honourable Mwadhi as his agent to read a statement here. Even if the statement says we are now comping the whole place, that's what the Honourable Mwadhi will come and say here. And then Honourable Abdisalan will be saying, you are not comping. I was there yesterday. Honourable Mwadhi will say, they are saying they are comping. So it will just, but if the minister, the Cabinet Secretary was here in the House, Honourable members, those of you who are in the 11th Parliament, you know that we had proposed something we call the General Oversight Committee. Those CSS would be here. But, well, we will continue with this because it's the Honourable Mwadhi. Honourable Mwadhi.
Yes, Honourable Speaker, because this is a house of rules, and there is a procedure of how we do or conduct business, I hear the statement request from Honourable Hulufa. But I don't know where you place the request or the debate, if I may call it so, for lack of another word, from Honorable Ishungwa, because he spoke about Rivayala, he spoke about Mungiki, he spoke about political instigation, he spoke about state, capture or what. I don't know how then that will be captured in the records to be able to be responded, or was it just a wild statement which did not follow procedure? I'm seeking your guidance, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Ishungwa rose in his place claiming for a point of order. So you place it there. It was a point of order, but it was not directed. And he seemed to have addressed all the issues that you've captured very well, Honorable Mwadhi. So what's the Honorable Duale's point of order?
No, he's not distracting me. Kimunya is really discussing a serious matter with me. Yeah. Honorable Speaker, I just want your guidance. The Minister for Finance has read the budget highlights and revenue-raising measures. But, Mr. Speaker, Chapter 12 of the Constitution deals with matters of public finance management. And, Mr. Speaker, and the Public Finance Management Act of 2012 squarely anchors the National Assembly as the budget-making house. Mr. Speaker, reading together with Article 95, Sub-Article 4A and B, also anchors the National Assembly in the budget-making role. And go further, Mr. Speaker, Section 40 of the PFM Act and Section 35 of the PFM Act 20 also stipulates the procedure. Finally, Mr. Speaker, our own standing orders, Standing Order 244 and Standing Order 235 stipulate the budget-making process. And, Mr. Speaker, let me go on record that the budget-making process is not an event, it's a sequence. So, Mr. Speaker, now that the minister came here and I had the opportunity not to attend, he kept on saying, I propose, I allocate. So, Mr. Speaker, I really wanted from where you sit, just before his budget reading, the Leader of Majority tabled both the estimates, expenditure, and revenue. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you have subjected that to the departmental committee. So, Mr. Speaker, from where you sit, I want you to tell us now, how do we deal this budget, these estimates that was read? That's number one, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, on a different matter, Speaker, last week I raised a statement on the fuel crisis in the country. And the Vice Chair of Energy, the member for Baringo, who might be very soon be former, looking at the dynamics of the, just from the dynamics of the country's politics. So, Speaker, she said she will be here on Tuesday to answer. So, Speaker, she is not here. And the Speaker, I can tell you from where I am standing, some of these members will walk to their homes today. There's no fuel. But because as I drove from Karen, the lines in petrol stations, these are national crises, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, this is a house under 95-4, cannot sit. This house, Mr. Speaker, under your leadership, decided not to deal with the petroleum taxes and levies amendment bill, which is supposed to be at the third reading, where we can reduce taxes. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the same minister who read the budget here is sitting on over 30 billion subsidy money he is supposed to pay to oil marketers, which have all been paid after even the president has assented to the supplementary budget last week, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, this is not a banana republic. The vice chair who took undertaking, Mr. Speaker, must come and tell us from the energy and the petroleum ministry, what is the answer, Mr. Speaker? Speaker, this house, even if the election is around the corner, all of us took an oath to protect and talk about issues. Each one of us, this is about, it's not about partisan. This is about issue of Kenya. Speaker, Kenyans are queuing for petrol and gas. They are being told to queue for SIM card, which after I tweeted, they have now rescinded. They are queuing for jobs. They are queuing for food. They are queuing for milk. Speaker, Speaker, this is not the House. So, Mr. Speaker, I really wanted you to give us direction. How do we deal with the matter of budget? The estimates are with us. Our chairs of committees are here. Secondly, I need an answer, which I was assured, and you directed it, and the chair said, the vice chair said on Tuesday, but she's nowhere to be found. So, Speaker, and then, in fact, Mr. Speaker, we should suspend everything else and discuss the fuel crisis. in our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, well, you see, he was on a point of order. So let me, no, Honorable Charles Kilonzo, you can, let me first of all deal with the issue. On the first point, as we all know, provisions of Article 95, Clause 4, and particularly Paragraph B, it is this House that appropriates national revenue to all the national state organs, including Parliament, Judiciary, and the National Executive, and all other independent institutions and offices. So I think the people sitting in Treasury are caught in some historical webs. The language seems to be giving them a lot of problems because they are used to coming here and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do the other. They have completely ignored that it is not their function to allocate, to purport to appropriate. It is that is the function of this House. And Kenyans, in adopting the Constitution, made it very clear. So they can propose to the House. In fact, all they need to do is just look at what happens in other jurisdictions. You propose to the House where the House has similar constitutional mandate like ours. You propose to the House. It is the House to deal with your proposals. But Honorable Duale, you know, sometimes we just forgive them for they know not what they say. I mean, you know, we try to tell them, please, you can only make proposals. It's okay for them to propose. And remember, you and I, Honorable Duale, and I'm sure several members here would recall that we went through a very rigorous process. Those of you would recall, after the new constitution was adopted in 2010, the 10th Parliament, grappling with the issue of budget, the presentation of budget, even as the 10th Parliament was enacting the PFM Act in 2012, were unable to come up with how the House, as a House, would receive those highlights. And the 10th Parliament then, Honorable Charles Kilonzo, you are there, unless you have forgotten, you provided that the budget highlights will be presented before a committee, and because of the provisions of Article 121 on quorum in the House, you provided that committee, being the Budget and Appropriations Committee, would comprise of 51 members so that the House will coordinate, or the committee will act like a House. But remember, when we came in 2013, we found that really quite unworkable, that the rest of East Africa would be, the ministers responsible for finance would be presenting budgets before the people's representatives in their parliaments. And it is you members who then reorganized the standing orders very quickly. And I must thank the members of the House for coming up with that proposal and for the House to have accepted. Then you provided and requested that I always, every year, I make provision for the Cabinet Secretary because he can't step on the hallowed floor of the House. Being an unelected official, he cannot purport to step where you are stepping, the Honorable Shamala, because he will, you say they are going to adulterate the hallowed floor of the House. So you directed that I prepare some space up here, some corner here, where he will come and patch himself with the staff, but then we give them an opportunity to be heard. That was the improvement that we had to do. So they cannot, he can therefore only come and make some proposals and then hand over the documents to the office of the clerk for distribution to the various departmental committees, which has already been done. So the committees are at liberty now, Honorable Duale, to go and comb through the various proposals. Comb through those proposals, and when you sit with the Budget and Appropriations Committee, agree or disagree. I mean, you are not bound by those proposals. Nobody is bound. Those are just because as it is, there would be still be proposals from Australia. You know, you are not quite bound by those. So you are at liberty. The proposals act as a guide, so that when you sit as various departmental committees and you interrogate alongside the other functionaries in the various ministries and departments, then you can be able to present something that is well thought out before the Budget and Appropriations Committee and agree on what it is should go to each ministry, program, activity, through the various votes and items and sub-items, as the case may be. So on the first point, I think it was okay for the Cabinet Secretary to come and make the proposals. It may be inappropriate for them to purport to allocate or even appropriate, to claim to appropriate, but we forgive them for using those words. It's just like when some other people, you have seen in the recent past, people purporting, arrogating unto themselves the power to make provisions having the force of law in clear violation of Article 94. So, honourable members, we just treat that with as one of those things that people get excited about things. On the second point, the Honourable Kimunya, as leader of the majority party, because the Honourable Gladwell Cheriot Tungo made the commitment here on the floor. Nobody even coerced her. She's the one who offered that she'll be ready today, Tuesday, 12th, to come. I don't, you know, this is a problem. And I keep saying, honourable members, it's only fair that when you make a commitment, please honor it. You know? So maybe Honourable Kimunya could respond to that.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Indeed, the Honourable Duale did request for a statement, and the Vice Chair of Energy undertook that will bring all the information required by today. I had a discussion with the Chair of Energy just before we came into the House, because I was following up on the same, and he did indicate that they are still waiting for the information from the ministry on the comprehensive matters that were raised. And he asked that he receive the information by tomorrow, then they need to process it at the committee, and then he'll bring that information on Thursday. So he's asking for some extra time because of the veracity of the information that was requested for. We obviously are conscious of the fact that there's a fuel shortage, not just in Kenya. It's across, it's a global phenomenon. But the issues that were raised require a comprehensive answer. And the Vice Chair of Energy may have underestimated the magnitude of the issues that were raised. But I've been assured that the committee will be receiving the responses by tomorrow and then process them and bring to the House on Thursday.
Well, you know, honourable members, we cannot turn that into a debate because, again, it will violate the rules of the House, the rules of debate. So, but maybe the Honourable Duale can. Now, we can't.
Honourable Speaker, you are an old member of Parliament. And Honourable Kimunya, I served with him in the 10th Parliament as the Deputy Leader of Government Business and as a Minister. And Mr. Speaker, there's a difference even in parliamentary procedure between an ordinary question and private members. Private members used to be matter which is of great emergency. And the Speaker, I asked that matter because there was an emergency, and that was last Wednesday or Tuesday. So, Mr. Speaker, Thursday was the budget day. I asked on Wednesday. I really want, Mr. Speaker, that it's a serious matter. The country is watching us. We can't keep quiet. We have to go out of our way to seek that statement. It is not a luxury for the PS or the minister. The minister, I'm told, is vying for governorship in Turkana. I don't know who is replaced him. So this is a government that can't even replace ministers, you know. It's as incompetent as it is. You know, well, I mean, 2 weeks ago, you can't even replace minister for petroleum. You know, you can't replace PSs. So we even don't know, so Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Speaker, you had the leader of majority saying there is shortage of fuel. This same ministry is contradicting the government is sits here on behalf. And a very competent minister for energy, Ambassador Monica Juma, went and said we have over 1 million liters of petrol, 2 million of diesel. So the issue is not about Kenya Pipeline said we have 62 million. I can't use the word that we are wet. That's a different. Mr. Speaker, can you help ask Honorable Sonkok to use parliamentary language? You know, he's saying they have said they are wet. You know, that's not parliamentary. So, yeah, that's in fuel terminology, he's right. Because when they say they are wet, but you know, there are many people here who will understand it in a different way. And I don't want to use it as a ranking member. So, Mr. Speaker, can we have it tomorrow? Can we have it tomorrow, maybe? Mr. Speaker, in fact, I want to correct that, Honorable TJ, if you were referring to me last Thursday, I won by over 24,000 votes. I didn't win by 3,000. Unless you are referring to some other people here, I want to go on record. I won by over 24,000. And Mr. Speaker, just to correct the answer, so Mr. Speaker, this is a serious matter. Maybe the leader of majority can fast track and bring us the answer maybe tomorrow afternoon. So at least we can talk for the people of Kenya.
No, just a minute. You know, that was directed at the leader of majority. Honorable Gemunya, he made a request. Is it possible?
Yeah, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Millie Odhiambo, you know, now we can't hear what is the leader of majority is committing.
Honorable Speaker, I will try to prevail upon the Chair of Energy to fast track the matter to tomorrow. But to tomorrow afternoon, if it's possible. But I'm also aware that part of the problem we are having is because of speculative holding by people expecting a price change on Thursday, on the 14th, when the new price will be made. But I want to, without speculating, I would want to tell those who are holding, they'll get a big surprise. They better release the fuel.
It's a point of order from the member for Yatta. Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, one advantage of having stayed in this House for many years is to remember the history. Mr. Speaker, in as far as I can remember, the Speaker, in most occasions, does not allow members to speak from both sides of the mouth, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I want to give you an example of Honorable Ndwale. Today, to come and say he's fighting for cost of fuel to be brought down, while the same Honorable Ndwale was lobbying for increase of VAT, Mr. Speaker. Yes. Members should learn to live with their sins, Mr. Speaker. The same Honorable Ndwale, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, again, another member who has a habit of talking from his two sides of the mouth is none other than the former chair of budget. Yes. And that is Kimani Ichung'wah, and he's running away, Mr. Speaker. Only last week, Mr. Speaker, on the matter of security, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah said money for security should be diverted to go and buy fertilizer, Mr. Speaker. I reminded him, Mr. Speaker, members who come from Eastern Province and Central don't understand living in areas where there's insecurity, Mr. Speaker. And today is here busy talking about insecurity, Mr. Speaker. The problems we have now is a former budget chair cutting money to go to Ministry of Interior. Policemen are struggling, Mr. Speaker, in hardship, no armored vehicles, no protective gear, Mr. Speaker, and he comes here to lecture us about insecurity, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, my appeal to the chair is don't allow those two members who have caused these problems when they used to be sycophants of the system. Now that they have seen the light, Mr. Speaker, they should not be given all that airtime because they are already a nuisance in this house, Mr. Speaker.
You know, Honorable Kilonzo, you know the danger of mentioning a member is that now the member will want to also to respond.
Mr. Speaker, the problem with Honorable Charles Kilonzo, I served with him in the 10th Parliament, is that some people want to live in the history. I was a leader of majority. I don't deny that. Now I'm a ranking member and member for Garissa Township. So if you expect me to live in the history of the leader of majority, Mr. Speaker, if it is about speaking from both sides of your mouth on matters security, this same Charles Kilonzo has a history. His father was a commissioner of police. When Ouko died, when Robert Ouko was killed, he's being haunted. He's being haunted by insecurity. Shame on you. This is what are you talking about? His father was a culprit. His father was part of that. So if it is about speaking from both sides of the mouth, your father and your family need to tell us answers. Tell answers. How Ouko died, who was involved, and everything. Shame on you.
Now, honor members. No, honor members. Honor members, you see, I know these are exciting times, and if we are not careful, members could find. But that one, the leader of majority has given you. What? No. You don't. What do you mean? No. You can't. No, honorable. No, but the matter has already been concluded. No, Honorable Sankok. Not on that matter. That matter, you know, the response was, you see, first of all, the person who undertook to give the answer is not in the House. Now, the leader of majority has given some undertaking. I think let's let it rest there. In any event, now even if you raise to say this is not correct or the other, you have no facts. Let him bring the statements. Let him come with a response. Then we can debate it then. Honorable Kajuang, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, something is troubling me. Is Honorable Member for Suba North in order to say that the grandmother of Member for Garissa Town was a colonial chief? Is this in order? Is this in order, Mr. Speaker, sir?
Now, please, Honorable TJ, I've not heard the member for Super North talk about anybody's grandmother. No, honor members, there is one point. Honorable member for Honorable Shamala and Honorable Ishungwa. Let us first of all, you know, the Honorable Ishungwa raised a very fundamental point of order, which unfortunately you people, because of these exchanges, you are going to lose. the issue of regulations which were submitted here and were referred to the Committee on Delegated Legislation, whose chairman is the Honorable Kamket, and the vice chair is the Honorable Jagagua. But I do know from experience and practice that the committee is literally run by the member for the RACA. So why don't we get the member for the RACA telling us where those regulations are? Because, as you know, under the Statutory Instruments Act, you see, a regulation-making body is required to, after getting them gazetted, once they are tabled, they continue having force of law until such time as they may be annulled. So maybe the Honorable Murugara, because I know you are the one who runs that committee. The other one is merely your agent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for those accolades. It's true, I actively participated in that committee, and last week we had a discussion regarding those regulations. In fact, it was in a retreat. We've not yet made a decision on them, so they're lying somewhere. Unfortunately, Honorable Kamket is not here. Honorable Jagagua has also traveled. I think we need to move with speed. Honorable Kamket must be in Tiati or somewhere, or is complaining because they are getting shortchanged by in Azimio. They had very high expectations, but those expectations are actually done, they're dwindling every day. And I think that's where Honorable Kamket is. When he comes, he's going to say where the regulations are and what we are supposed to do with them, because we need to take a decision and bring that decision to the House. As we agreed, the committee is just supposed to consider, make a report and bring it to the House. Not that we are going to do it the normal way, whereby the committee, if it approves, then they move straight to operation. They have to come to the House. That was the agreement, and I hope the chairman is actually going to do it that way. Thank you, sir.
But you don't know how soon the House is said to go to recess on Thursday evening.
You have the regulation that yet.
Sorry. The House is said to go to recess on Thursday evening this week.
Yeah.
And does not report back until, is it the 9th of May?
We are coming back on the 9th, and that's a long time from now. So the net effect is we should have actually be having that report tabled to the House, possibly by tomorrow. And I'll get in touch with the clerk to say it is required here as a matter of, I mean the clerk of the committee, the clerk assistant, so that we can have them tabled and possibly debated before the House goes on recess.
Very well.
Thank you.
Very well. I think it's important that happens. I think that concludes the various points that have been raised. Let's move to the next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion.
Yes, Honorable Kajuan. Yes.
I thank you for allowing me to rise on a point of order. On a very, actually, on an intervention, not quite a point of order. Mr. Speaker, sir, you have been our bulwark in taking care of welfare of these members. And as the chair of the Parliamentary Service Commission, you've done a fantastic job. Many of us, you have mentored us to where we are. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, a few things happened in the recent past that are worrisome, especially for members from Nairobi and areas in the environs, like Kikuyu, like Kiambaa, and so on, in which some bodies who believe they have a constitutional mandate have drastically reduced members' compensation to the chagrin of those members, drastically so. And you know, we are very keen. We have been following, even the commission, we have been following the Parliamentary Service Commission. We know that they have looked very hard on their compensations and emoluments, and they have improved quite a while in one places or the other. So it is, you know that, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, we have Mr. Speaker, you know we have had almost what other people have referred to running battles when it comes to the question of compensations and emoluments concerning members, especially members from Nairobi and the environs. And you have been the one who has stood out very clearly. Even when our principals elsewhere have spoken against it, you have maintained your resolution that members should be in a place that they can offer service to this country. I don't want to request for a Kamkunji because it is not within the standing orders. But this is an issue that really concerns us. Is it possible, Mr. Speaker, you will resolve in some way to bring us so that we can ventilate on this issue in some more detail, and that when you retire to the Commission, you are able to give some guidance around the subject, because absolutely it is a big problem as far as we are concerned, Mr. Speaker, sir.
The only problem with Honorable Kajwang is I don't know. You wanted to have it ventilated where?
An informal meeting would be better, because then we will be discussing matters which are not necessarily in the chamber and which are not business, but which concerns the welfare of these members. And so I invite you to employ your wisdom and bring us together, whether in, I'm sure not in your chambers, because your chambers you are doing other things which are more of use to the plenary. But call us to a Kamkunji, for example. We are able to ventilate much more on this.
Although even the current, the most recent representations to that body contains our position on that issue of Nairobi, members from Nairobi and its environs. The most recent representations to that body, you know that body. It's still very active there. So I don't know how, maybe Honorable Kajwang, we can discuss it outside, out of here, out of the plenary. Right? Because I know you ably represent what the other members would want. It's the same thing, I know. So I'm sure we can discuss it. Member for Suba North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm not rising on the issue of whether Duale's grandfather was a colonial chief who was harassing Kenyans. But, Mr. Speaker, I think probably in tandem with what Honorable Kajwang is saying, there are certain things that I think we need to discuss as a House, which perhaps we may not put in formally. So I was requesting that perhaps we have a Kamkunji after when we return. One of the issues of concern to me, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of the calendar, parliamentary calendar. You can see most of the parties are actually conducting their primaries. This week, I'm supposed to be going for primaries on Thursday. Mr. Speaker, you will find that most members won't be here. I think UDA is having most people are having their primaries on Thursday. The same with the other parties. What then happens, and the official calendar says that we are going on until Thursday. Since we already know, sort of how the other parties are likely to operate going forward, can we stagger the parliamentary calendar to take into cognizance that, and also to take into cognizance the fact that as we go to elections in August, I think now when you think in hindsight, it's actually miscalculated, that for CDF, people are already asking for bursary, especially post-COVID. Children are going to get stuck, and parliamentarians are not going to be here. So we are going to actually have a very serious crisis. But there are also other issues, some which are not that important, but which I think going forward, if you're looking on traditions of parliament, I had Honorable Duale referring to himself as a ranking member, and he's the only person who we officially recognize as a ranking member. We need to do an official recognition of ranking members as per the American way, Mr. Speaker. And I think sometimes we abuse ourselves as members of the House. I was one of the drafters of the Constitution, and we intended that chairman of committee rank pari passu to ministers or cabinet secretaries. But we are treating ourselves here as second-class citizens. So those are things we need to sort out even as we come back in the next parliament, that we need to give back the House the dignity that it deserves by the way we treat ourselves and by the way we treat our own system. So those are things, some of which we may not discuss here, but perhaps we would better discuss in a Kamkunji. Thank you.
Well spoken, Honorable Millie Odhiambo, and of course, the Honorable TJ Kajwang, I expect him to be giving us an update of where we are with the review of the standing orders for the next House, since I noticed that the Honorable TJ and the Honorable Millie Odhiambo are desirous of being back in the House. So make good recommendations in the review so that before we adjourn on 9th of June, Sinedie, we will have adopted some revised standing orders. Yeah, we should actually, the committee on Procedure and House Rules Committee has been, I believe, working on, and I think any member who has, just like what the Honorable Millie Odhiambo has said, I think it would be good if you have some ideas. You've seen the way the standing orders are. You know, every year, every end of the 5-year term, we sit here. In fact, it is one of the worst days for whoever is speaker, because I think Honorable Millie Odhiambo, Honorable Duale, Honorable Kimunya, and others, when you're in the 10th Parliament, you made some rule, I think it was there previously, that the speaker has to sit throughout and go through every section of the proposed standing orders. It's a very so I hope Honorable TJ doesn't come with too many proposals, because it will be a terrible day for me. And yes, and it's very long. So, but nevertheless, the points made, Honorable TJ, Honorable Millie, I think those are good points, and maybe TJ you could inform if you could get if you are here on Thursday, perhaps you can give an update of where we are in that process of reviewing. Eh? Very well, thank you. Next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, reduction of publication period for a specified bill.
The chairman, no, this is leader majority.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that, notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order number 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2022, from 14 days to 4 days. And, Honorable Speaker, the essence of this reduction is to facilitate the first reading of the Finance Bill so that it can be committed to the Finance Committee, and then they can start the work on considering this when we are on recess. Honorable Speaker, and we have said this before, we started this tradition of having a publication period of 14 days, which in the old days was meant to facilitate public participation before the bill is then first read a first time. But we have since Constitution in 2010 introduced public participation as an integral part of the review of the bill, which is also taking it 14 days after the first reading. So the first 14 days that had been foreseen in the old days is actually redundant. And I'm hoping that that's one of the things that will be changing in the new standing orders, so that a bill is published and read immediately, and then 14 days start running, during which time it's advertised, people can bring complaints, because we are now losing 14 days pre-first reading, and then taking another 14 days after the first reading to do the same thing and achieve the same objective. Honorable Speaker, again, this is an appeal to the House because time is not on our side. We go on break on Thursday. We have 3 to 4 weeks. We'll come back, and by the time we consider and finalize on the appropriation, we hope we also provide for the financing of those appropriations through the finance bill before we break on the 9th of June. And because of all that, it's important that we can fast track as much as possible any bill to do with the finance bill. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable Dwele to second.
Honorable Dwele.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I really want this, support this publication to be reduced because this is a very dangerous bill. And the earlier the better it goes to the people of Kenya for public participation. Because we are leaving on Thursday so that the Committee of Finance can consult as many stakeholders as possible, because I have scanned through this bill. It touches on the basic life of our ordinary citizens in terms of taxation from unga to wheat to bread to water. So I think it is good that we reduce so that we don't keep it. And the committee deals with this matter, does a very conducive public participation, serious one. So by the time we come back, in line with the time when our committees will finish the budget issue, then we can pass the finance bill. I beg to support.
Second.
I beg to second.
Now, members, I propose a question, which is that notwithstanding the provision standing under 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2022, from 14 days to 4 days. It's the desire of the House that I put the question. It's just shortening the publication period for the reasons that have been explained. Yeah, I mean, so, honour members, let me put the question, which is that notwithstanding the provision standing under 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2022, from 14 days to 4 days. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, motion, extension of period for consideration of the nominees to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Leader Majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion, that pursuant to the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act of 2011, relating to extension for consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office, this House resolves to extend the period of consideration for the nominees submitted by His Excellency the President for appointment as members of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission by a period of 14 days from 3rd of May 2022. And again, Honorable Speaker, this from the time we received the names in the House, if you calculate, the time will be expiring by next week, when we will be away. And there will be nobody to report, and hence we will lose the opportunity to receive that report from the committee and debate it. And in keeping with our previous practice, whenever we have this situation of a recess coming in between the deadline for production of report and the discussion of that report, we provide usually for that extension, so that we would expect the whole process, consideration and reporting to be reported not later than 17th of May, when the House will actually be in session, within a week of the House coming back. And this is just to facilitate the reality, to recognize the reality of the recess we are getting into, and the statutory limitations that are placed by the law, which we are also allowed to via through this extension with the approval of the House. Honorable Speaker, again, this is a straightforward matter. we need to ask the House that we approve it. I beg to move and ask the Vice Chair of the JLAC, the Honorable T.J. Kajong, to second.
Honorable Kajong. Very well. Honourable members, motion having been seconded by the Honorable T.J. Kajwang, I propose the question, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act of 2011, relating to extension of a period for consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the nominees submitted by His Excellency the President for appointment as members of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission by a period of 14 days from the 3rd of May 2022. Desire of the House, I put the question that pursuant to the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, relating to extension of the period for consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the nominees submitted by His Excellency the President for appointment as members of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission by a period of 14 days from 3rd May 2022. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 10, the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2022, first reading, a bill for an act of Parliament to amend the laws relating to various taxes and duties and for matters incidental thereto. Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Order, members. We are now in Committee of the Whole House to consider a number of bills, and we are going to start with the Elections Amendment Bill number 3 of 2022.
Clause 3.
So we are on clause 3. And I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. Chair, Jaylock.
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 3 be amended as proposed in the order paper.
Speak to it
I
a little
realize
bit
that
for members to
I
follow.
think I have to explain many of these things because when we sat the other time, I think many members sought for explanation. So I will be as brief as I can and try to capture the mood of the House. Madam Chair, clause 3 has to do with what we saw in Kibra in the Mariga case, in which a voter, although was not registered in that area affected by the electoral area, went and registered elsewhere and contested in the Kibra by-election. It was a very untidy way of doing things. But again, we also have to have a way in which we standardize this. If, for example, the by-election is concerning Kipipiri constituency, and there is no by-election that is going to come in Kipipiri, it's in the unlikely event that there is a by-election in Kipipiri, members from, voters from Ruaraka should not freeze, should not stop registering just because there is a by-election in Kipipiri. And so when you see the amendments in clause 3, so when you see us adding those words as you see, those words are supposed to insulate that kind of issue. In A, in A, B, and D. C is as in the other paper, really. It's not a big issue. The thing is, of course, there is no valid, a passport is a passport. It has to be a genuine one and a valid one to be a passport. But we are, for abundance of caution, saying that it should be a valid passport on behalf of the people in diaspora. You know, they own passports. But those passports have expired for one reason or the other. So when you do elections, they are going to go to the embassies and looking for an opportunity to cast their vote. So you need to be very clear and say, you need to come back and renew your passport and make it valid for you to be able to vote. So this is really the justification in the whole of clause 3.
Right, I propose the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chair. I go on to put the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I go on to put the question that clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. Chair?
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 4 be amended as proposed in the bill. This has to do with the register of voters. There are two issues here: inspection of register and verification. You know, inspection is an ongoing activity that should go on every time to inspect the register. But just a few days to an election, voters should have an opportunity to verify that their details are captured in the voter register. So we needed to break the two components so that one refers to inspection and the other refers to the verification. And so this is the justification, which then shows that the registration of voters is an ongoing at all times but rectification is limited for the period for the election or by election. I propose.
I propose the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Mili.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, even though I agree with Honorable TJ, but I wish the committee would also take cognizance of an emerging issue, which is that we are no longer just dealing with the IBC register, but also parties now have registers which need to go through the same process. Because, I know, but if you are dealing with political, even if it is through political parties or whatever, because we have brought new amendments which are affecting elections, and now we brought a more recent amendment where we say that you can only vote through parties. How then do you verify the party register so that if members have actually registered, then it's the authenticated register that then people use in the public? So that is something that the committee should pick up as well. Otherwise, on this one, I support.
All right, I'll go on to put the question. Or Chair, do you want to say something about what the Honorable Mili has raised?
No, the member for Suba North is absolutely right. I think this concept of political parties is something which we are strengthening, and it is now emerging that registers, membership registers is now becoming a very important component of it. The other, last month, members of this House were not worried. But I can tell you that for the last 2 weeks, it has been a diarrhea for members. Then they discovered that they have been doing work in this House, and some people who had very good money in their pockets were busy registering people out there. So this question of register is really an important thing, but I think we are going to take it up within the Political Parties Act instead of the Elections Act.
Okay.
I thank you.
So I'll go on to put the question, which is that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I go on to put the final question, which is that clause 4, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question, which is that clause 5 be part of the bill. And we have 2 amendments. And the chair, you can go first. Clause 5. Is Honorable Chair and Honorable
Chairperson, I move that clause 5 be amended by deleting clause 5.
Why?
No, this is where we are. Members are not carrying the bill. If they were carrying the bill, they would almost have agreed with me. Now, this is where members were saying, this issue of mass movement of voters, especially we in towns. Today, I am giving bursaries, and everybody is coming and changing their votes so that they can benefit. Tomorrow, when the other person, or watch, who is my neighbor, is giving bursaries, they all migrate there. So there is this problem around movement of mass movement. But we agreed that this is a problem. I myself was one of those, and Oluwach, who was sitting in the same committee, both of us agreed that this is an issue. But we are first and foremost lawyers, and then we are legislators who have sworn to protect the Constitution. The manner in which IBC presented the proposals was such that we could not support it because it was unconstitutional. Why? Because they are asking voters to show that they are resident in that constituency, or that they have a building in that constituency, or that they have employment. We thought that that is being very rude to the Kenyans. The people I represent, if you ask them, do you reside in this building or in this constituency? Yes, they would not. They don't have. They don't have the pieces of paper that would show the lease, which member for Kiminini would have to show. The incoming governor would show that that they are residing in this constituency. Or if you ask for employment, we know that nobody is employed in Kenya. I mean, that is extreme. But yes, the majority of Kenyans that we work for are unemployed. So to ask them to show that they're employed is actually an abuse to them. So we have asked them that it is a limitation of Article 38, and we understand where they're coming from, but we have asked them to find a better legislative proposal that answers to this issue for 2027. And that is why we are deleting it. It was in the bill, but now we are deleting it. So, in short, they don't have to show those papers that they were supposed to show under the bill.
Okay.
Well, it is overtaken by events anyway. Yes, but member for Suba North, what we are saying is that let the government, we inclusive, and those of us who are going to go into government, let us also upgrade Article 43 and give people houses, decent houses. Yeah, if we don't address that, this becomes an abuse to local people. Yeah, thank you very much,
Okay.
Madam Speaker.
I propose a question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. I go on to put the question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the actually it's deleted, and then the amendment by Honorable Duale is similar, so it falls.
Clauses 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
There are no amendments on these ones, and I propose a question, which is that clauses 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 be part of the bill. And I proceed to put the question, which is that clauses 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I propose a question that clause 13 be part of the bill. And here again we have two amendments. The chair, you can go first.
Madam Chair, I propose that that clause 13 be amended as proposed in the order paper by deleting paragraph B Roman 2. Now, this is the reverse of clause 3. The Mariga case we were talking about, it was trying to create that type of, it was trying to fix that kind of situation. But again, we looked at it and we said that it is unconstitutional because you see, you cannot put a feta or add, you cannot add a liability on the Constitution, I mean, on legislation, which is not given by the Constitution. So we said that delete this as a violation to Article 38(3) of the Constitution. Having carried the one we carried in proposal in clause number 3. So it fits very well and there is no ambiguity in law. It is certain. I propose.
I propose the question, which is that clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chair. I go on to put the question, which is that clause 13 as amended, be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the final question that clause 13 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And Honorable Duales being similar, it therefore falls.
Clause 14.
I propose a question, which is that clause 14 be part of the bill. Chair?
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 14 be amended by deleting paragraph B, Roman 2. This is just the same as what we have just dealt with in clause 13, and I beg to move.
And there is a similar one by Honorable Duale. So we finish with yours, Chair, and I propose a question that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I put the question, which is that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the global question that clause 14 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it, and Honorable Duale falls.
Clause 15.
I propose that clause 15 be part of the bill. Chair?
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 15 be amended as in the order paper by deleting paragraph A. We have taken this in consideration in Political Parties Act as a consequential amendment. And so this is, as the leader would say, otious. I propose.
Okay. I propose a question that clause 15 be amended as proposed by the Chair. And I go on to put the question, which is that clause 15 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the final question that clause 15 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it, and Honorable Duales being a similar one, it falls.
Clause 16.
I propose a question, which is that clause 16 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair?
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 16 be amended by deleting clause 16. Now, this is the sweetener of it all. That members, the 10-day window, the proverbial 10-day window, I'm sure Honorable Sankok does not need this, but you then can now move from the party in which you have been to independence. So I know the member for Kisumu East is very excited because he's already there, so he's an independent mind. Anybody who wants to go there should consult him. Don't go there until you consult him. So that is one, but the second justification is that we have carried on paragraph A the amendments in the Political Parties Act. So this is just to clean this part up. We are not allowing, but we are saying that the window now exists. We have dropped that clause which would have tightened that window. So then this window is relaxed. I know that member for Suba North is not going to use this window because she likes using doors, not windows. So I am sure that he will use the doors that he is always used to into coming to this house. I propose.
I propose the question, which is that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Honorable Amalo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise to support that amendment. In life, Madam Chair, there must be checks and balances.
And for those people, in one way or another, maybe they were disadvantaged, they should be given that opportunity. And this, Madam Chair, I think will put parties in check so that you don't apply anything that maybe might not be applicable as far as democracy is concerned. So people can participate in party primaries, also knowing that in case of anything has been contravened or contrary to the law, that provision of the 10 days should be maintained. It will also help in checks and balances. I thank Madam Chair and I support.
Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, if I was not a Democrat, I wouldn't be supporting this because, Chair, the first time I vied, one of my opponents, after I defeated him in the party primaries, went as an independent. He came back and I defeated him. The second time again I vied, the person who came in, who I defeated, came in as an independent again, and I beat him even by a bigger margin. Madam Speaker, I know this is also likely to play out now again. But, Madam Speaker, so that people don't consider you what is called a siamagilot or selected, Madam Speaker, if people complain, let them come, let them go independent, and let us face each other off. So that window of 10 days, Madam Speaker, I'm okay with it, because so that people don't feel that they are being oppressed. Even when they are not oppressed, they will still feel that they are oppressed. So let them have that opportunity. I support.
Honorable Sankok.
I really support and urge members to support this one because when we have parties, that during party primaries, it is a final. You cannot party hope. You remain within that party. We may go back to the Kanu days. We may have these dictatorial parties, Honorable Speaker. And you see what is happening now. Because the political party that was very huge, called Jubilee, which is the ruling party, is now in bed with the opposition. Milk is missing, fuel is missing, almost everything, even water is missing in our shell. The only thing that is available currently in Kenya is alcohol. But the other products, all of them are missing. You can find no milk in shelves, you find no fuel, you find no even water. People are not drinking water. So when we have people having that window to go to independent so that we can have as many members as possible from independent minds who don't belong to one political party, so that we are not being intimidated within that political party. You remember how we have been intimidated for almost 4 years. It's only that we have now gotten the leeway to get out of Jubilee because it's no longer, because the election is just about the corner. So I support so that members can get that window. In fact, I wish it was a door of 20 days.
Honorable Osotsi.
Chair, I fully support this proposal, and I think it is good to give those individuals who lose at the primaries an option to become independent. But again, this scenario calls for an opportunity for us to create the relevant laws that will re-engineer a political party system in this country. Because if we allow the things to go the way they are going, we may end up having a house full of independents, and the political parties will die. So I think a lot of focus needs to be put in the management of political parties so that to make these political parties democratic and be run very well. Instead of seeing parties which are, we have mushrooming briefcase parties, some of them want to sit on the high table and demand for things, and they don't have numbers. So I think a lot of effort has to be put in making parties democratic, making parties a really legal entity, and basically parties that are functional, not parties that spring up during election. So I fully support this, but with an encouragement that we need to invest in political party management.
Honorable Whip, you wanted to speak to it?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, mine is just to support this amendment. But, Honorable Chair, I would wish that we open it up once the election is done, so that we look at it further and see Is it good that we are going to go the independent way, or it's going to be that how are we going to manage the political party? Remember, Madam Chair, we have the political party fund, which is supposed to take care of the political wing of the political wing. Therefore, Madam Chair, it's something that we support for now, but the long run, it cannot be sustained. We need to digest it in future and see what to say. And Madam Chair, just to conclude on the line of what Honorable Sangoko has said, that now we don't have milk and everything because of Jubilee, I would want to wish, okay, although I do not now want to go into the politics part of it, but Madam Chair, the hand that feeds you, you need not to cut it when it's due. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'll go on to Chair. You want to speak to it?
Madam Chair, you know, I thank Honorable Osotsi and Majority Chief Whip for the remarks they've made. I think for the Hansard, we need to be clear that Kenya is a multi-party democracy, and all efforts should be to make sure that political parties work. Independence or being an independent is an exception rather than the rule. So the exception can now not be the rule. But we have said that, you know, it is not laws that make things. And IBC must not be looking at legislation to be making things. There are a lot of interventions, non-legislative interventions, which need to be put in place, which can cure those mischiefs, instead of a legislation like this, which looks draconian, which looks like it wants to, you know, refuse that other people cannot move elsewhere. For example, let them give more money to political parties. Let them allow political parties to be trained. Let people enjoy what it is in a political party. Let those people who Samkok is referring to be made to understand that political parties is a place where we exercise our rights. When that will be done, people would want to participate in political parties without a law such as this. But you see, we cannot say that we are now going that direction because we want to have everybody independent, because independent is not what the Constitution demands of us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
It's Madam Chair. I don't know when you turned me to Mr.
I saw the clerk beside you and it confused me, but you are always my Madam Chair.
So can I proceed to put the question? I go on to put the question, which is that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 17, 18, and 19.
I propose the question that clauses 17, 18, and 19 be amended. They have no amendments. So I propose the question that clauses 17, 18, and 19 be part of the bill. And I go on to put the question that clauses 17, 18, and 19 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
So here we have a number of amendments. And we have proposed amendments by the Honorable Kaluma and the Honorable Duale, which would have had a consequence on those by the Leader of Majority and the Chair, but I don't see these members here. You have agreed, okay. So I think, Honorable Leader of Majority, I will have you go first, but first let me propose. I propose the question that clause 20 be part of the bill. Honorable Leader of Majority.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 20 be amended as per the order paper. And this is basically a reformulation of the contents of the bill in exactly the same way as the committee had provided, except for if you members would look at the The amendment by the committee, it has 9 issues, and our point of departure is the number 6 on the committee on page 49, which basically the committee had proposed that the commission shall establish a mechanism for live streaming of results as announced at a polling station. And since this matter was the subject, we didn't have to provide in the law live streaming of results for information only, which was not binding to anyone, and actually declared it unconstitutional. What the committee had then tried to do is to bring it, and we have discussed with the committee, and they're in agreement that IEBC has no business in regulating what TV stations do. That is for somebody else to regulate. Once they announce their results, once they put the results in the portal, other broadcasters can now use that information without having IEBC being the one regulating or determining how that live streaming will take place, because that's the domain of a totally different regulator. And IEBC don't have their own TV stations. To the extent that what was in the bill had left out the issue of having a portal, for managed by IEBC, publishing the polling forms on an online public portal maintained by the Commission. Since this has been reinstated, then IEBC will have done their bit by transmitting results and giving the images of those transmitted results in the public portal. Then from there, other broadcasters can do their bit without having to force IEBC to do the same. So on that, that's basically the point of departure. And this whole amendment in clause 20, the amendment to section 39 of the Act, is all to harmonize it and streamline with the rulings that were done at different times in the latest being the 2017 elections, and mostly related to the presidential elections, although it also covers what happens at the constituency, at the polling center, at the constituency, at the county, and in the National Tallying Center. So it's now a neater formulation, which, again, we have agreed with the committee, except for that bit. And on that one, I would want, for the record, the Vice Chair might want to put his on the record, the concurrence that we happy to leave out IEBC from the live transmission of results. I beg to move.
So we will have him put his word. I go on to propose a question that clause 20 be amended as proposed. Be amended as proposed by the leader of majority. Will as many as of that? Okay. I'm a bit mixed up here. So at this point, Honorable Chair, Vice Chair.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I concur. At the end of the day, what I'm excited about is that this section of law has gone through tremendous bashing by litigants. And every section has been looked at with a spotlight. So the committee had this onerous duty of trying to harmonize the body of law which controls transmission. And transmission is everything. If elections have been done properly at the polling station, we should not have a problem with nomination, with elections, just because we can now not take it to the people to see what the polling stations have done. There must be a legal framework for doing that transmission. It is transmission that was the problem, was the issue of post-election violence, not the way Kenyans went to vote. It was the transmission problem. So to say that we can have an election without transmission, I think is idle. But again, remember the Constitution talks about variability, transparency, a lot of lofty words that an election must conform to. So with this amendment that you see, for me is the clearest text I've seen that cleans up the issue around transmission, and Leader of Majority has made it even clearer on this issue of live streaming, because they are not communication authority. IBC is not a communication authority, which would then, so to speak, regulate or create a mechanism for live transmission. That must be done elsewhere, and it is not IBC's job. So we are not saying that by not legislating it, it is something which we have impeded on. No. There are some other people with equal legislative powers who then can come in, and the players to live stream whatever it is. I saw some time before members of the Fourth Estate bashing this, that members are saying that they want to curtail the media from announcing the results. That's not the case. The case is that you have the freedom to do it, and nobody stops you. Do as much as you can. Just make sure that you stream the polling stations as they come if you have the strength to do it. But don't make IBC be the ones to create that mechanism, because they don't have the mandate under the law. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I will proceed to put the question. Honorable Bonguna, you want to say something?
Chair, thank you very much. Let me say I am very happy with these amendments and I support it, Chair, because of late we've been actually seeing the media manipulating results and even giving us the final results before we get it from the Commission. So I support, Chair.
All right. I'll proceed to put the question, which is that Clause 20 be amended as proposed by the Leader of Majority. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the final question, which is that Clause 20 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So, Vice Chair, your amendment falls with the passage of that of the Leader of Majority. And also the ones by Honorable Kaluma, Honorable Duale, the Honorable Leader of Majority, you had indicated that you had agreed. So we are good to go.
Clause 21.
I propose the question, which is that Clause 21 be part of the bill. Chair? Clause 21.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have had discussions with the Leader of Majority on this. I think Clause 21. Just let me collect myself. Yes, on this complementary mechanism for identification. And I've seen the text, I think. Which page, Leader of Majority? I think that the page is 495, that the Leader of Majority is proposing as a substitute to what we proposed, and I concur. So yes, I withdraw, yes.
Okay. I go on to put the question that Clause 21 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 22.
I propose the question that Clause 22 be part of the bill. Chair?
22 has something to do with electoral disputes. I move that that Clause 22 be amended in the manner proposed in the order paper. It has something to do with the electoral dispute. You see, after registration of all candidates, now we are calling them registration. When you go to IBC or to your returning officer to present the documents that the member for Suba North is owning, called a direct ticket, when you place it there, and all the people have now been registered, just before that decision is made to accept by IBC, there should be a window by which members of the public can raise complaints to IBC. For example, to say that member for Suba North did not go to school. I happen to know that she went, and I have the digest of the schools that she went to, but somebody can complain. And we are saying that that window should be around 72 hours, because from Suba to Nairobi, it takes you about 48 hours to be in Nairobi, and to exercise your rights properly, another 48 hours, so making 72 hours. So I propose.
I propose a question, which is that Clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. I'll go on to put the question that Clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I go on to put the question that Clause 22 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I propose the question that Clause 23 be part of the bill. Where is the mover? Yeah, Honorable Duale is missing. So we will go on to put the question to have this clause be part of the bill. I go on to put the question that Clause 23 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clauses, new clause 19A.
I call the mover to move second reading of the new clause.
Madam Speaker, I wish to move, me to propose that new clause 19A be read a second time. This is a very simple thing, just makes common sense that when the commission has collected all the names of independents and people in political parties, everybody who is going to contest, then they would have to, the commission would have to do one gazette for everybody. It is simple as you see it, but it is important because it is that, therefore, the actual decision that the IBC is making that then these people are going to contest, meaning that election petition begins from here. This document, this gazette itself can form a subject of an election petition that so-and-so Honorable Sankok, who was in that gazette notice, should not have been. Of course, it will be the other way. And so I propose.
I propose the question that new clause 19A be now read a second time. Honorable Sankok.
As we agree on this, because it's a very straightforward amendment, but I'm wondering, supposing we have 300 independent contested for the member of parliament seat, and we have 1,000 independent for MCS, and each of them have to have a party symbol. Don't you think all the symbols that are available in the world will get finished? I'm just wondering, yeah? No, I know, but I was just bringing it. I said this one I support, and it's a very straightforward
So
one.
you're supporting.
But I was just wondering so that the Honorable Kimunya of Kipipiri can advise me kando kando.
I wonder where we will situate your wonder. Maybe the chair can help you. Honorable Chair, you have the mic, or is it the next one?
The eighth wonder.
Chair, you have a mic there.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Sankok should not worry. Even his flamboyant tie can still be a symbol. It is actually beautiful, and in the color it appears, it can be a symbol.
Okay.
Then Mwaji can take me if you want to be independent. He
I'll
can
proceed.
take my photo.
Why are you giving him the mic? I put the question that new clause 19A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I go on to propose the question that new clause 19A be part of the bill. Can I proceed to put the question? I put the question that new clause 19A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 19B.
I now call upon the mover to move second reading of the new clause 19B. Chairman.
I'm struggling to get the page. Yes, that, Madam Speaker, I move that
(19B)
that new clause 19B be read a second time. Now,
are you lost?
Oh yes, oh yes. This is that the person shall not be nominated by a political party unless the person is on the date of submission of the party list registered voter in any of the wards. Yes, you see, this is now not Marega. This is now Kathy Kilonzo. That you need to be registered in that ward for you to be able to participate in that election or in the county. Before, you could be coming from Nairobi from a splashy hotel, from a splashy office, and then you are just registered in Nairobi, but you hear that there is a vacancy in Ikolomani or in Turkana County, and you run there and contest, and yet your registration, your vote is in Nairobi. Yes, for MCAs, yes. Yes, absolutely. So this is what we are trying to regulate, so that they must come from that electoral area affected by that issue. We beg to approve.
Honorable Millie? No, yeah, just hold on, Honorable Millie. I propose the question that the new clause 19B be now read a second time. Honorable Millie, you can now go.
Chair, my understanding is that what the committee is seeking to address is the issue where when you are nominating the MCS to fill the 2/3 gender, if my understanding is right, the two genders rule, that then you don't get people from outside that area. Madam Chair, sorry, that would mean, for instance, that you have a person from Turkana nominated to serve in the County Assembly of Homa Bay. As much as I know we would be trying to deal with the National Integration and Cohesion Act, I think it would be important that a person that is nominated in that area has some ties or link to the area, so that even when they are nominated, it doesn't create a lot of friction. I know actually 2 live cases that created a lot of frictions in the respective counties. One, unfortunately, was concerning a friend of mine.
But Honorable Millie, I don't think then the chair should clarify. It does not only apply to the 2/3, because we also have persons with disability and the youth. So you need to clarify
Yes,
on that.
Chair. It doesn't, thanks first for the clarification, but I'm giving that as an example, even if it has to do with persons with disability and whatever. Chair, there are enough persons with disability in those respective areas. So I don't think we should disenfranchise them. And also, it helps parties to reward people who have worked very hard for those parties in those areas. When you get a person who has not worked in that area for the party, it actually discourages people. So if it is in that area, there's a person with a disability from that area. If it is the 2/3, there are women and young people from that area who can also be nominated. So I actually support. Thank you.
Leader of Majority.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chair. For purposes of the record, the essence, indeed, I was supposed to bring this amendment, but we pushed it to the Chair. Yes, my apologies. But members will note that in committee today, we had 2 election bills. This bill we are considering now, which is bill number 3 of 2022, and bill number 41 of 2021. Now, bill number 41 was just this provision, this one single provision, which we passed in the second reading. And hence, when we discussed in-house business, we figured out that rather than have the House passing two amendment bills to the same act and having 2 bills to be assented to or go to Senate, we take 1 bill. So by consolidating what had already been passed by the House. So basically what this is doing is we're now picking this amendment. When it's passed here, then it will collapse. We don't have to consider the other bill because it will already have been considered this and simplifies the work, and we only have 1 bill now moving, but with the provisions of both bills having been consolidated into 1 bill. So basically this is a fast-tracking exercise, and I'm glad that we had already passed it in the second reading anyway. So, and there was no amendment to 8 in the third reading, so we lifted it to now consolidate the elections amendment bill number 41 into number 3.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that's a good clarification. Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I support this one fully. And this is a very good amendment. Thank you very much, Majority Leader, though you pushed to the Chair, TJ Kajwang. Chair, this is an affirmative action top-up, which need to be for affirmative action groups. And it should actually be a breeding ground for future leaders. So if you are in Homa Bay and you are nominated in Lamu, how will we be able to breed you up so that you can contest an MCA seat in one of those wards after you have graduated, because it gives you an opportunity to profile yourself. It is like the affirmative action seats of the women representative, in which yourself you benefited. But after 2 terms, you are so honorable enough, and you said, today I will retire, I will leave this affirmative action slot that was given to me because it is a women representative position, so that another woman from Narok County can benefit from the same, so that they can also profile themselves. You have profiled yourself to even to the level of the speaker panel. You have profiled yourself, you actually almost became the governor of Narok, because you are so honorable enough to leave that for somebody. So for another woman in Narok County. So it is the same, it is a breeding ground. You cannot breed if you have an MCA with disability, or from the women gender, or from the minority tribes from Turkana being nominated in Mombasa. You are not assisting those persons, you are just giving a salary. So thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I support 100%.
Okay, Honorable Shamala.
Thank you very much, Chair. I also rise to support this amendment, especially against the backdrop of the strengthening of political parties. In as much as we would like to have independence running, we want a situation in this country where we run on ideological basis and not for the convenience of just winning or at the whims of certain politicians. And I think that in where we are deliberate and state that the nominees for the members of county assemblies must come from a particular area, it further strengthens the political party and locks out abusers that can be meted out by the leadership of the party by choosing to pick people from anywhere when you have people on the ground in that particular area who have not necessarily run on an election ticket but have worked extremely hard for the party. So with those few remarks, Madam Chair, I do support.
All right. I think Honorable Whip.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, mine is just also to support, but basically the background of this amendment is on the basis, Madam Chair, that everything is local. When we are nominating this group of persons, they are meant to represent interests which are local best. So we are curing a situation where, Madam Chair, we do not nominate somebody from outside a region, which is in this case the ward, from outside, who is not coming from the same area or jurisdiction, so that we cushion political parties, especially from the headquarters or the county regions, so that they don't just bring anybody down to represent the interests which are not theirs, Honorable Chair. Therefore, this is a good amendment, and I wish to support my Vice Chair. Thank you.
I will proceed to put the question that clause 19B be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I go on to propose a question that new clause 19B be part of the bill. And I'll proceed to put the question that new clause 19B be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chair?
Madam Chair, I propose that the bill be, the clause 2 be amended as proposed in clause 2 in the order paper. Well, this is just to fortify the decision we have taken in clause 3 to bring in the word valid passport. It can only be if then that valid passport has been defined in clause 2. So it is in keeping to have more certainty and to clean up the process.
Okay, I propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Can I go on to put the question? I go on to put the question, which is that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the final question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. And I go on to put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Chair?
Chair, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, this is a very, I move that clause 1 be amended as proposed in the order paper This is to fast track the operation of this bill. So as soon as this bill has been accented and gazetted, it takes effect immediately. So it's just to fast track the commencement. So I move.
I propose a question that clause 1 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Whip.
I just wanted, Madam Chair, maybe a further clarification from my Vice Chair. He mentioned that once the bill is published and assented to. But when you look at the writing in the order paper, does not insist on assenting. Must it be?
Chair?
In modern legislative practice, we don't put that because assent is upon, yes, the signature of His Excellency the President. But coming to force, you can postpone commencement of an act. You can postpone everything else if you do not specify how it is going to happen. So as soon as that publication is done, immediately, so that if, for example, the Senate were to pass this somewhere by May, we should have this act operational in the manner amended. Thank you.
I will proceed to put the question, which is that clause 1 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the final question that clause 1 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now call upon the mover to move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I go on to put the question for reporting, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, honorable members, as explained by the Leader of Majority, having passed the amendment on clause 19B of the Elections Amendment Bill number 3 of 2022, automatically the Elections Amendment Bill 41 of 2021 falls. And it was well explained by the Leader of Majority. So we move to the next bill. We continue with committee. And now, members, we are in Committee of the Whole House on the Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2021.
Clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
I propose a question, which is that clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 be part of the bill. And I go on to put the question that the listed clauses be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. There is a proposed amendment by Honorable Ounda, who is not here. So we shall move on to have clause 2 be part of the bill, and I put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. And I go on to put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question, which is that clause 1 be part of the bill. And there being no amendment, I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I call upon the mover to now move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move the committee due report to the House is consideration of the Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, the National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2021, and its approval thereof without amendments.
I go on to put the question for reporting, and I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, which is National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2021, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, honorable members, we move on. We proceed on to the coffee bill, which is Senate Bill number 22 of 2020. And we are continuing from where we left. We stopped at clause 45. Yes, Honorable Sankok.
Chair, the coffee growing area, members of parliament like Najut Jomo, I think they are just somewhere. So the issue of quorum, we have to be assured. I raised in the point, because let us just call them to come in, order number, standing order number 35 on the issue of quorum. So we can ring the bell so that we call them in to come, because I know Jude Jomo and Kina Lydia Wakago are just somewhere taking tea. We need to move forward with them, because we cannot amend the coffee bill using Kina TJ Kajwang from Kisumu. It's very, this is the issue of, it's not the issue of fish. It's not the issue of fish.
Honorable Sankok, I think you've made your point. Honorable members, I order for the quorum bill to be rung for 10 minutes.
Oh, those boys spoke the way they spoke, huh? The ones who were running with. No. You know, they are always boys speaking. Mixed propaganda, mixed with truth, half truth. Yeah. And so I opted, I got a direct ticket back to women, but I could not go back. I could not go back to women. 15 years of an affirmative action position. That's the very matter. I'm going to the Senate after. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I mark time there as I plan for my next